America just got rocked, folks. America has just gotten rocked. President Donald J. Trump has dropped the biggest Social Security change in decades. Checks are surging by $600 a month for struggling seniors. That's real money. That is real impact. But wait a second, it gets even bigger than that. Because at the very same time, President Trump is cleaning house at the Fed, firing a governor caught in an alleged mortgage fraud scandal, a governor who still refuses to deny the charges. Now think about that, guys. More cash in seniors' pockets and a Federal Reserve official clinging to power while Trump tears down the wall of corruption. The question tonight, whenever you happen to be watching this, is rather simple. Is this the lifeline America's seniors have been praying for, or the dangerous expansion that critics warn could bankrupt the system? Now, let me tell you guys, we got some serious fireworks ahead. You're going to hear exactly how the $600 surge ties directly to poverty levels in America, why a brand new formula for cost of living could finally expose what seniors have lost for years, and how the Fed's so-called independence has been weaponized with climate rules, DEI mandates, and shady deals up until Trump said enough is enough. So here's the kicker, guys. The ousted Fed governor, Lisa Cook, she's lawyering up with Hunter Biden's old attorney. You can't even make this stuff up, guys. And it all points to one unavoidable showdown. President Trump's money war. Social Security's on one side, Federal Reserve's on the other side. I don't know if you're receiving SSI or SSDI, Social Security. You guys let me know if you're receiving that in the comments. And the entire future of your retirement checks is hanging in the balance. Now, stick with me, guys, because I'm about to show you guys what is about to literally change the system, how you're going to see Washington, D.C., and maybe even how you see your own bank account from this day forward. It's all about to change. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's go ahead and start with the headline everybody's buzzing about. This Social Security Expansion Act. No, it's not theory. This isn't some campaign promise floating in the wind. This is an actual active bill in the 119th Congress under President Trump's leadership, and it packs a serious punch. So here's the big one. A $600 monthly boost, not one time, monthly boost for lower income seniors. Think about that just for a second, okay? If you're scraping by barely on maybe $1,000, I don't know how much you're receiving. Maybe you're getting $1,000 for Social Security, SSA, SSI, or maybe $1,200 a month right now. This plan rockets you up to around $1,900 per month. That's not pocket change. That's rent. That's food. That's prescription drugs. That's dignity. And President Trump's people are framing it clearly. This is tied to 125% of the federal poverty line. So if you're below it, you get pulled above it. Millions of seniors could finally stop living classified, as in poverty by their own government. And so here's the question that really has the critics screaming their heads off. Is this an overdue lifeline, or is it just completely reckless? Because every dollar going out means more pressure on a trust fund that's already staring at a cliff. And so when you talk about $600 a month extra, that's $7,200 a year multiplied across millions and millions of people. You're talking about a tectonic shift in spending. You see what I'm saying here, guys? So I want you to ask yourself right now, and you let me know what you think down below. Is this relief, or is this a ticking time bomb? Do you want to get a $600 monthly increase in your Social Security check today, even if it risks the Social Security fund expiring or running out of money sooner? Y'all let me know what you think is smarter to do. And so that kind of brings us straight into the poverty debate, because the numbers don't lie. A senior making $12,000 a year today gets dragged up to nearly $19,000. Now, on paper, you're no longer in poverty. Sounds heroic, doesn't it? But critics are already warning. They're tying Social Security permanently to the federal poverty line, which means that the program automatically expands with every inflation adjustment. So in other words, it never shrinks. It's like a ratchet effect that only goes one direction. And so here's the situation. Trump and his allies, they're saying that this bill will lift millions out of poverty once and for all. But the people who are against it, the opponents, are saying that it's going to lock Social Security into a runaway growth and push the system into insolvency even faster. And so that's the battle line, guys. Lifeline versus collapse. Relief versus bankruptcy. Like, which side are you on? Now, it gets even bigger, because while the $600, boost is the headline, it's really not the only cash infusion on the table. In fact, President Trump's plan has another bombshell that applies to every single recipient that's watching me right now. Now, picture this, guys. You're talking to your neighbors across the fence. They tell you, hey, I just called Chapter. They found a plan that saved me $1,000 a year. Then another neighbor says, Hey, they helped me switch to a plan that includes dental and vision. I didn't even know I qualified for it. Now, at some point, you kind of realize it's not just a coincidence. It's the neighbor effect. Word spreads pretty fast when something really works. And so this is exactly why I partnered with Chapter, because their results speak for themselves. So let me ask you, when everyone else on your block already checked their coverage, do you want to be the only house that hasn't checked their coverage? Now, most people are already calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen right now. Phone number is 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. It's totally free call for the Ron Yates community. Yeah, so because here's the next shockwave we really need to talk about, guys. It's not just low-income seniors seeing a boost. President Trump's Expansion Act builds in an across-the-board raise. Every single Social Security and disability recipient, every single one of them, doesn't matter where you fall on the income chart, gets an extra $200 a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll take an extra $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. That's real cash in your pocket. And the timing, it's perfect. Inflation's been chewing away at these modest cost of living COLA increases while Medicare premiums keep climbing. We've all seen it. This is why so many people are calling Chapter. Now, one hand gives you $50. The other hand takes back, $30 in higher premiums, and then you're left with crumbs. Let me know if you guys have heard about this. The COLA increased for many people about $50, but then Medicare increased by $30. So what'd you keep? You only kept like $20. That's not a real increase, right? This is different though. This is money that shows up before it gets eaten alive. And yet, here's the counter argument. This is the smart stimulus for seniors. Or, okay, I don't want to say what it is. I want to let you guys decide. Is this smart stimulus for seniors, or is it the dangerous precedent that critics are warning about? Politicians, they're trying to buy loyalty by writing checks from a program that can't even keep up with itself. So again, you got a clear dividing line here. Is President Trump giving seniors the break that they deserve, or is this Washington writing another IOU that the next generation can't afford to cash? Well, if you think that was controversial, wait until you hear about how President Trump wants to rewrite the formula that decides your Social Security raise every year. Because right now, the system is a joke. It's a complete joke. It's a mess. Let me know if you think it just doesn't work. But look at 2026. Projected cost of living adjustment is just 2.7%. Meanwhile, Medicare Part B premiums are set to get, guess what, guys? Medicare Part B premiums are set to jump up 11%. So you get a bump that barely even covers groceries, and then you watch it disappear with your Medicare bill. That's not a raise. That is highway robbery. President Trump's bill fixes this by essentially scrapping the outdated formula that tracks the spending of urban wage earners and clerical workers, people who are buying TVs and laptops and gadgets, not retirees. Okay, so instead, it locks in a formula that's tied to the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, also known as the CPI-E. So what does that mean? Well, it means the calculation finally reflects what seniors actually spend money on: healthcare, prescription drugs, housing, the very costs that have been bleeding seniors dry for years. Now, I want you to ask yourself, is this finally justice? Seniors getting a COLA that reflects reality? Or is this the kind of indexing shift that's going to blow Social Security's obligations sky high, forcing higher taxes and deepening the deficit? Well, that is the storm that's brewing right now. Fixing what's broken or uncovering and overcorrecting into chaos. And so here's a kicker, folks. These first 4 changes are only the beginning, because the real fight is coming. How do you pay for it? Who's going to get taxed? And how is Trump, how Trump is reshaping the entire Federal Reserve in the middle of all of this? How is this going to impact all Americans? Poor, middle class, the rich. And this is exactly what I want to dive into right now, okay? Let's talk about the question that everyone is whispering behind closed doors in Washington, D.C. How in the world do you pay for all this? Because let's be clear, the Social Security Trust Fund is already staring down a cliff. Without reform, by 2032, benefits could be slashed 25% across the board. Can anybody imagine getting 25% less of your Social Security check? That doesn't sound like a good day to me. Trump's Expansion Act goes straight at that problem with a very controversial move, lifting the payroll tax cap. Now, right now, a CEO making $40 million a year pays the same Social Security tax as somebody who's making $176,000. Trump's proposal, any income above $250,000 gets taxed for Social Security. So the math says this one change could keep the program solvent for 75 years. 75 years, folks. That is a lifetime for retirees today and tomorrow. But here's Here's the flashpoint. Critics scream this is nothing but punishing success. This is a tax grab that could push investors, job creators, and high earners to move their money offshore. Now, which is it? Seniors protected for generations, or is it growth killed in the name of fairness? That is on the battlefield right now. So while the debate rages on, President Trump wasn't content to just fight over dollars and cents. He actually went for the jugular at the Federal Reserve. Guys, this month, just a few days ago, President Trump fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook over alleged mortgage fraud. And so now here's the part that really should make you kind of pissed off. Cook hasn't once said, I didn't do it, not once. Instead, she's lawyering up with none other than Hunter Biden's old attorney. Now, why in the world do you think the Fed governor hired Hunter Biden's old attorney to defend her? Any guesses out there, guys? Any guesses? Drop me some comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Why would she do such a thing? Think about that. A Federal Reserve governor, one of the people setting the nation's monetary policy, hiding behind lawyers instead of giving the American people a straight answer. Guys, there's a reason why she's hiding. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent laid it out very clearly. If you're accused of mortgage fraud, you don't get to hide in one of the most powerful financial seats in America. No, you don't get to do that. And so here's the deeper play. By clearing house, essentially President Trump just opened a path to reshape the Fed itself. Think about it. The critics are calling it politicization. Trump calls it accountability. But Trump could very well clean out the Fed, just completely reshape the Fed, the Federal Reserve as we know it. And the one thing that everyone agrees on, the stakes really couldn't be any higher. So is this Trump restoring trust in America's central bank, or is this the start of a political power grab that could shake the entire economy? Well, I'm going to dive into the heart of the Fed's trust crisis, how Jerome Powell's climate change and DEI mandates, pre-election rate cuts, and backroom groupthink have pushed the Fed off this mission, and more importantly, how Trump's allies are saying that they're ready to pull it back. Here's the truth nobody in the mainstream media wants to admit. The Federal Reserve has been on shaky ground for years. Scott Bessent flat out said the Fed has become an unaccountable institution since 2008. Would anybody agree that the Fed is unaccountable, that they're not even a real bank? Think about it. Unelected governors making trillion-dollar decisions that affect your savings, your mortgage, and your retirement, and they answer to nobody? Jay Powell didn't help that image. Instead of sticking to the Fed's mandate of employment and inflation, he stuffed the agenda with climate change rules and DEI mandates and pre-election rate cuts that magically lined up with political convenience. So then, to make matters worse, even after the election, he reversed course. Never mind, I'm focused on inflation now. That's not independence. That is gamesmanship. He's been gaming the system. And it makes people ask, should unelected Fed officials really have this much unchecked power over America's money? Well, this is why Trump's move against Lisa Cook matters so much, because by ousting her, Trump's team says she's sending a message, okay? Or more importantly, he's sending a message. Trust at the Fed has to be earned, not assumed. But here's where it gets even more explosive. With Cook gone, Trump suddenly has a path to majority influence on the Fed's board of governors. What this means, guys, is that for the first time in decades, a president could reset the entire direction of monetary policy. We're talking names like Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller are already in the mix. And get this, Scott Bessent confirmed there are 11 serious candidates being vetted right now to succeed Powell when his term ends. Interviews start after Labor Day. Hey, that's right around the corner. So the short list goes to President Trump by fall. And so here's the part that has insiders shaking. All right, they're panicking. Trump isn't walking in blind, okay? Scott Bessent says Trump is sophisticated on monetary policy. He doesn't just nod and accept whatever the Fed tells him. He challenges them. He has his own personal point of view. That drives them completely nuts in Washington because it means Trump is not playing their game. Trump is rewriting the rules. So where does that leave us? Trump says he wants a new Fed chair who can restore the bank to its core mission: sound money, monetary discipline, regulatory strength. But his critics are already screaming that this is nothing more than a power grab, a takeover that could make the Fed a tool for Trump's America First agenda. And that sets the stage for the big picture, because this isn't just about bigger checks or one fired Fed governor. It's about a full-blown money war. Social Security on one side, the Federal Reserve on the other side, and Trump at the center of both. And so this is exactly where I want to head next, the bigger picture. And I want to tie this together because you're going to see how they're trying to screw over all Americans with these decisions. Here's where everything collides. Social Security and the Federal Reserve are not separate stories. They're two fronts in the same war, Trump's money war, okay? So on the one side, you got the $600 Social Security surge. Trump is putting real cash in the hands of struggling seniors, lifting millions out of poverty and rewriting the COLA formula so that benefits finally reflect reality. Now, to his supporters, that is clear leadership. That's a president fighting for the forgotten men and women of this country. But on the other side, you got the Federal Reserve shaken up, okay? Trump isn't just firing Lisa Cook for alleged mortgage fraud. He's sending a message that the Fed no longer gets to operate as untouchable, unaccountable, this unaccountable club. He's reshaping it in real time with a short list of candidates who will drive policy in a way that really actually puts America first. So here's the situation here. Is Trump the savior of seniors and the reformer of the Fed, or is this, as seniors scream and as the critics scream, a reckless spending spree and a dangerous power grab that risks the very foundation of our economy? That's the judgment that you're forced to make tonight, because make no mistake, the checks are real, the firings are real, and the stakes really couldn't be any higher. So President Donald J. Trump just delivered the biggest Social Security raise in decades and fired a Federal Reserve governor under a cloud of scandal. That's action, guys. That is disruption. That's the fight over America's money playing right out in front of us. So I'm going to leave you with this, folks. Is this the bold leadership that America needs to survive the next decade, or are we charging headfirst into financial chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I really want to know where you stand, and don't go anywhere. YouTube believes you're really going to enjoy the next video that's popping up on your screen right there. Click it, keep watching, and stay in the fight with us. We'll see you next time.